Hello, folks. Welcome to Market Trends. This is David Russell, Global Head of Market Strategy at TradeStation. It's great to be with everyone again today. Today is Thursday, January 8th, 2026. It's our first live stream of 2026, and wishing a happy new year to all of you. Um, you know, um, Today I'm joined by Jesus Nava, but very quickly first I want to just mention that there's a lot of kind of interesting new price trends in the market. There's a lot of broadening away from the mega cap growth things as we've discussed in recent webinars, and the payrolls report tomorrow morning is going to be big. So we'll be back to cover all those items in state of the market on Monday afternoon. Today we're looking at TradeStation's new platform, Titan X, and here to discuss that is my colleague Jesus Nava. He is the Director of Client Training and Education here at TradeStation. Hello, Jesus. Thanks for joining us today on Market Trends.
It's a pleasure, David. Thank you for having me.
It's great. Look forward to seeing what you're going to show us.
Got some great stuff, to show you. TradeStation is working really hard to provide us a platform that is designed for active traders. So it's exciting, everything that's happening at TradeStation. I think this is the first look that we're going to have here on Titan X. So I have a few things to show you. Yes, for sure. Oh, should we just get started?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. I was, waiting for the disclosures, but yeah, just keep in mind, that if I do any symbols or any trading on any symbols, that those are just examples. Those are not recommendations of TradeStation. Also, keep in mind that, trading online is risky. And if anybody needs additional information on disclosures, just go to tradestation.com/important-information. As David pointed out, I am the Director of Client Training and Education here at TradeStation, and my main focus is to provide everyone enough resources so that you don't have to struggle once you jump on a new platform. Titan X is the new TradeStation platform. We call it the next generation platform because it's going to eventually replace, all the advanced trading platforms that TradeStation provides. At least that's the idea, and this is like the initial stage of that, and we're going to get a preview so that you guys can see everything that's been implemented, some of the tools that you are able to use, and if you want to transfer or transition over to Titan X, it's ready for you to use as well. Everybody here has been already enabled for Titan X, so you all can go into TradeStation Hub, go to the platforms section, and download and install Titan X. It doesn't overwrite anything that you've created, so it doesn't replace the TradeStation desktop. In fact, you can choose which one you want to run and log in with the same username and password, but it's there for you to use and start using it. And if you want to jump over to Titan X and make it your main platform, you're welcome to do so. Let me switch over here to, before I get started, I wanted to mention that we are going to be in person for the TradeStation Masterclass in South Florida. This is a one-day event where we're bringing in professional traders on derivatives, futures, future spreads, and equity options. And it's going to be focused on those assets so that you can have new strategies, new approaches, ways that these pros are approaching the markets. I think it's great when we have professional traders join us and show us what they're doing so that we can benefit. So this is February 26th. Please take out your phones. There is a QR code that you can scan, and just for being here, you can get a 20% discount towards the registration fee. Right there, you can see the QR. It'll give you a 20% discount, and you can join us, including David Russell is going to be there, myself as well. Remember the date, mark it in your calendars, February 26th. If anybody has any questions or any follow-up comments, I'm also going to share my team's email address is education@tradestation.com. You're welcome to email me there in case you lose track of the special or the QR code, you want me to send you a direct link, I can pretty much, answer any questions you guys have. So thank you for that. Let me go ahead and switch over to my Titan X, and here it is. As David said at the very beginning, and I, kind of gave you a preview of what we did here. This is the next generation trading platform for TradeStation. The idea is for you to have all the bells and whistles included in this trading platform, so you don't have to go anywhere else. Well, there are different ways in which you can trade on TradeStation, which are, the trading platform, in this case Titan X. You also have your mobile app, so you can take it anywhere you are. Gives you the flexibility of not having to be in front of your computer and still be able to manage your accounts. And also the TradeStation Hub. All these three platforms are going to be integrated in a way that if you set up an alert on Titan X, you can receive that alert on your mobile device. If you create a watch list on your mobile device, you can open up Titan X and have access to that watch list there. So they're going to be fully integrated in a way that you can transition from one platform to the other and see everything that you're watching, everything you're monitoring. This will give you a seamless experience across all TradeStation platforms, and that's what we're striving for here. Titan X, as we said previously, is going to be our next generation platform. Let me go and give you an overview of what's included here, and you're going to see some of the nice advanced features that we have implemented to make your trading so much more efficient. First of all, when you first install it, you're going to be right here on the home page. From the get-go, we're going to give you templates that you can open up right out of the gate. If you don't like using templates, you have a section here for layouts that you can create from scratch. So if you're the type of person that, I want to create my stuff myself, I want to organize my charts in the way that makes sense to me, I want to have my watch list in a separate area of my workspace. If that's you, then you can just create the layout from scratch. But if you want some assistance, if you want to see how some TradeStation people here have created some workspaces, we have the layouts section where you can just click and open up any of these layouts that we've prepared for everyone. By the way, each one of these panels will open up into more details. So you can see the view all section here on the right-hand side, or you can navigate using the menus here on the left. So if you go, like, for example, to the layout templates, it just focuses on the pre-built templates that TradeStation provides you. If you go to My Layouts, these are the ones that you've customized. Every time that you open up a layout and you make any modifications, if you change any symbols, if you resize some of the panels, if you introduce some new symbols into your watch list, whatever changes you make are automatically saved into Titan X. So there's no more saving workspaces. In the past, that on the desktop, you had to save workspaces to be able to, go back to it if you need it. Here, everything is saved automatically once you exit out of Titan X, so that next time you log in, everything will be there as you left it. We've also added here a learning center. We're at the moment developing a lot of educational content on Titan X. These are 6 videos that give you an overview of some of the main features of the platform. So always come here to look for new videos as we post them. But that's the idea, just to continuously add new educational videos here. From there, you see at the very top, we have your layouts tabs. I can click on Trade Management, which is one of the layouts that I created. I have a matrix, which includes the matrix. We're going to get to the matrix in just a moment. I have one that's called Swing Trader and Options Chain. So you can have as many tabs as you need right there at the top and switch from one layout to the other. One thing that is really interesting here on Titan X is what you see here on the right-hand side. It gives you an overall view of all the accounts that are connected to your trading platform. In this particular login, I'm using simulated accounts, but there are a total of 6 different accounts. If I go here to this drop down, you can see all the different accounts that are connected to my Titan X. In a real scenario, you could have your own individual account, and maybe you have a joint account with your spouse, and maybe you have another account that you manage for your children, or maybe you have a corporate account. You can have all these accounts connected to your login so that when you access Titan X, they all show up here. And the nice thing is that you can select all of the accounts so that you can get an aggregated account value at the very top of your Titan X. So this account value that you see right here, the $6.1 million, is all these accounts combined. It just gives you an overall view of your account standing, and you can select, which ones you want to be aggregated right here at the top. If you just want to see one of them, you're welcome to do so. It's just a matter of clicking the ones you want to see, or selecting them all. In here, you also see the ability to switch from a live account to a sim account. I'm sure that at the very beginning of your journey with Titan X, you're going to want to go into the simulator just so that you can test the functionality. There's a lot of new things, a lot of new features that I enjoy myself, and I'm sure you'll enjoy too. So I do recommend that you connect to a simulated environment just to make sure you get the hang of the technology before you go into your live account. But it's a quick toggle for you to switch from one to the other. Over here on the right, and I'm just giving you like a tour of the platform so you know where things are. But over here on the right, you see what's called our trade ticket. I believe that the first time you install it, it automatically shows up. But this is something that you can hide by clicking on this little button. They have like two arrows pointing up and down. But if you click it, it just hides the trade ticket. Anytime that you need the trade ticket, just click here and it just opens up. Now, a lot of times you're focusing on analysis, you are in charting, and you're focusing on your indicators, and you want to hide the trade ticket because you're not really in trading mode at the moment. So you can do that. Just click there so it hides it, and then you can just focus on the rest of your layout. You also have a piggy bank or a piggy icon that you click, and you get access to your balances in much more detail. So this is a way for you to access your accounts one by one and see what the balances are. It separates those between equities, options, and futures. From here, you can also go into add funds mode. It just opens up a dialog. I think if you click on add funds, it'll just go to TradeStation Hub, which gives you the ability to transfer funds between your accounts or deposit additional funds into your TradeStation account. And the alert section, which is something new on TradeStation Titan X, because these are shared alerts across Titan X and mobile and even Hub, so that if you set up an alert in one of the platforms, all the other platforms are going to be attentive to that alert and give you that alert if it gets triggered. Not only that, but you get a whole summary of the alerts that have been set up. You can create new ones or just focus on the ones that are active. Like over here, I have a drop down. I say, just show me the ones that are enabled right now. And you can see there's only one alert enabled for AT&T. If the price goes beyond $25, this is set to give me an alert. And this is expiring very soon, so I may have to reset it if I still want to be notified. But the nice thing about this is that if AT&T does go beyond 25 or trades at 25, I'm going to receive not only an alert here in my Titan X, but I'm also going to get an alert here in my phone, in my mobile device, because it's seamless connected to that alert functionality. So pretty cool what they did here. And it just provides you that additional seamless experience when you set up something in one platform and you receive that notification on a different one. Since this is a new platform, right here at the bottom right, you have a feedback button that allows you to report bugs and ideas. As we develop Titan X, this is a great opportunity for everyone to participate in developing Titan X into the best trading platform, because you can suggest our product owners or product managers what you want to see on the trading platform. If you feel like Titan X is missing out or it doesn't have a certain feature, use the feedback button, because that goes directly to our product managers, and they are the ones that prioritize what is going to go into the platform. The more our clients are submitting their suggestions and their enhancements, the better the platform is going to become, or at least it'll fit more your trading style. So let me go ahead and get out of this. Just wanted to point out that there's a direct communication to our teams so that you can participate in creating a trading platform that best suits our needs. Let me go and get started with something simple. I know that we have about 30 minutes to show you some things here on Titan X. I'm going to get started here with charting. Let me open up a new layout. I can just click on the plus here on the top. So I don't really have to go to the home page. You know, if you go to the home page, which is the little house over here, you get access to where the layouts are, you know, the ones that are supplied by TradeStation or the ones that you create yourself. But if you know you want to create a new one, just click on the plus here and it just opens up a new layout for you that is empty. And it shows you this components menu that allows you to click on any of these components and add it to your space. If I click on chart, it fills the whole area for me automatically. If I go back to my components menu and I click on chart one more time, it just finds another area for a second chart. Now I can have a little control here, and this is one of the nice things about Titan X that provides you full customization power, or the ability for you to customize the layout in any way you want. For example, if I go here and instead of clicking and letting go, if I click and drag, I have the control over where this chart is going to fall. The shaded area will give me an indication of where it's going to land. I still haven't let go of my mouse, so the shaded area here on the left just means that it's going to be added to this left side panel as a separate tab. You see this tab over here with the S&P 500 index? If you see the full shade, it's just going to be added as a second tab on this panel. If you want the chart to be at the bottom of this panel, just drag the chart here at the bottom and you see how the shaded area tells you where it's going to land. If I let go, that's where the chart goes. Let me try that one more time. If I go here and I go to chart one more time, click and drag, notice that the shaded areas tell me where the chart is going to land. Let's say that we want to put it here on the right-hand side, drop, and there it goes. Now it organizes your layout in such a way that it just gives you the control of where those components are going to land. I find that very useful, very convenient. The fact that you can have multiple tabs on each one of these panels is also very convenient. So if I want to go to my components view, and maybe if I want to add the matrix on this full panel, you know, notice that it adds the matrix as a separate tab, and I can switch back and forth between the chart and the matrix right within the same panel. So pretty cool functionality. All right, let me go ahead and kill some of these windows. I just have to click on the X's on the tabs. The charting functionality right here in Titan X is impressive. I can use my mouse wheel to increase or decrease the bar spacing. Notice that I'm just using the mouse wheel to expand and contract the view. As you squeeze the chart and you don't have any data, the data automatically loads for you. And on the desktop, I think you had to request the data manually. Here, as long as there's space and you squeeze the chart all the way, it automatically fills your chart with more historical data, which I find very useful. Also, you get an automatic volume indicator at the bottom. This is controlled by going into the settings, and if you go to data, I believe it's where you find volume. My volume right now, it's overlaying the candlesticks. That's why you see a little bit of an overlay. But if I say separate, notice that it just drops the volume in a separate subgraph. Or if I just want to remove it, just click volume and it just removes volume altogether. We have a full library of indicators. If you click on this function icon or F, it'll give you the list of all the indicators that are part of the charting component. We're not going to be able to go through every single one, but it's really nice that you can just double click on any of these. Like if I double click on Bollinger Band, you can see the Bollinger Band in the background. You can see all the settings for the Bollinger Band. You can adjust any of the settings like thicknesses. You can do colors if you want to change the colors of anything before it goes on the chart. Full customization. If you change your mind, just come over here and click on the X. It removes the Bollinger Band and you can go into something different. You know, all these indicators are available for you to use. We have many new indicators that are not part of the TradeStation desktop that have been added to this charting package as a way of modernizing the look and feel of our charting application. And just if you're not familiar with any of the names or some of the names that are here, just hover over the question mark and it gives you a brief synopsis of what the indicator does. You can click on learn more and it'll take you to a full documentation of the indicator, but we're not leaving you alone in terms of trying to figure out things. We're going to provide you the resources that you understand what these indicators do. Okay, but remember, double clicking and then clicking on the X removes the indicator. If you add something, let's say that I add the Ichimoku cloud, right? And you have it on the chart, you have access to hiding the indicator. Notice that I have information on the Ichimoku right here on the top left. I can click on the little I to hide it. In case you're switching from one study to the other, and instead of cluttering your chart with all these different indicators that you're trying to follow, you can hide individual indicators by clicking on the I and then just clicking on it to bring it back. You also can access the settings of the indicators by clicking on the cogwheel or just clicking on the X that you see right here just to remove it. So nice functionality. One study that I think it's great is volume profile. Let me go to something different. Let me go here to Apple. Let me go here to the top box, type in a symbol for Apple, hit enter. Let me change the time frame to a daily chart. Here we go. And let's say, for example, that I wanted to see the distribution of volume between this low right here, which happened in April of 2025, all the way to this high, which happened on December 3rd. All I need to do is go to my drawing tool. Notice that there's a fixed drawing tool here on the left-hand side. I can click on this little button on the top left, allow me to see the full name of the studies. But over here, there's one that I like a lot that's called, let me scroll down here. It is called, not the price range. Here it is, range volume profile. The range volume profile, I click it, I drag from this low that I mentioned. I did mention this low right here, this low. I can drag from this low all the way to this high. And it gives me a volume profile. It tells me, where the majority of the trading happened in this particular range. I think that's an interesting way of looking at activity and volume. This is called range volume profile. There's one that's called the anchored volume, but there's been an enhancement on the way that we're providing you tools to analyze the market. So take a look at all the indicators that have been added. Take a look at all the drawing tools that have been added, because there are dozens of different drawing tools that you can leverage. I think that'll give you a good starting point on your market analysis.
Can I briefly throw one other thing in there?
Yes.
Which is that they've now introduced also equal volume bars, which
Yes.
makes thicker bars left to right when there's more volume.
Here they are. So in an interesting layout. I also found that really, really good, David, and thank you for your input on that, because every candle that is thicker, of course, that just represents how much volume happened in that particular bar. All right, let's see. Anything else? Heikin-Ashi bars are already built into the TradeStation Titan X. I wanted to show you some trading functionality as well. Let me go back here to my regular candle. All right, we see Apple trading at 256. Take a look at this little plus here on the right-hand side. I click it, and it allows me to send a buy or a sell order right here from the chart. Let me send a buy limit. That's my order right there. Notice that I can click on my order, and I can set a take profit and a stop loss directly on the chart. If I click on add take profit, I can just drag where I want to take a profit. Let me disable confirmations, because I'm going to be doing this multiple times. Confirmations are great because it makes you double check your work. But in a learning experience, I'm going to be sending a lot of trades. So let's go ahead and disable it for now. And that's my profit target. I can click back on the primary order and set a stop loss. And there we go. So within the chart, we didn't have to leave the chart, and we already set an OSO. We have the primary order that is going to buy 100 shares of Apple if it reaches our limit price, 255.74. And at the same time, we have a bracket protecting our position with a target and a stop.
So, hey, just speaking of Apple, yes. Does this now support Mac OS?
Oh, that's a great point. I was going to mention that at the very beginning, and thanks for bringing it up, because yes, for so many years, the TradeStation desktop, we just got used to saying, no, Mac is not compatible. Mac is not compatible. This is the first time that TradeStation has created a platform that is fully Mac compatible. So you can go right into the TradeStation hub and download a Titan X that is fully compatible with Mac operating system. So for those that are hardcore Mac users, I own a Mac myself. It's really nice to have Titan X in your Mac. I'm not sure if you use Mac, David. Do you? All
No,
right.
I do not, but I know that that's a great thing, and it's a functionality that a lot of people have asked about. It was actually a question we've just gotten now, and I think it's important to realize that this is an issue that has been out there, and that they've worked hard. The developers have worked hard to address it.
They have, yes, for sure. Now let me show you a few things that I like also on the new trade ticket here on the right hand side. On the desktop, we used to have the trade or the order bar at the top. We've added a lot of functionality in the trade ticket that you're going to enjoy a lot in your trading. For example, let me just switch the symbol here to something different. Let me go to, I don't know, Bank of America. I believe I have a position already in Bank of America. I set up a layout that I call trade management, where I set my positions below and I set my orders right here on the top. The orders component, you can set it to show you everything that you've traded in the past 7 days, and it gives you a history. But if you want to see your open orders, you click on open. I don't have any open orders right now. But if in my open positions right here, I don't see Bank of America. So that's the example that I'm going to use right now. So let me go ahead and go here to my trade ticket. I can see the price of Bank of America right now. It's $56. It allows me to set an options trade on Bank of America. I just want to trade the equities for now and show you some pricing functionality that was implemented. Let's say, for example, that I want to buy 1,000 shares of Bank of America, and instead of figuring out what price I want to say the auto pricing. Auto pricing allows you to say, I want to buy Bank of America, but at the time that I place my trade, I want the system to automatically set my limit price at a certain distance from the asking price. Let's say, for example, so I can go in here and say, I want to shave. This is one tick. I want to shave maybe 5 ticks off the ask. Notice that right now, the ask is 56.22. So if I set my auto pricing to -5, notice that my limit price is 56.17. But I want you to take notice of this 56.17 because it's updating in real time based on what the asking price is at the moment. And you see it updating in real time. It's not until I actually, pull the trigger and I want to place that trade that it automatically sets my price based on my distance. So the auto pricing is pretty cool. We have a shading functionality. We have an improve, which, you can improve the bid by a certain amount. You can join the bid, join the ask. So this is an auto pricing feature that was part of the desktop, but I really like the way that they did it here on Titan X because they provide also a visual of where that price is. Because a lot of times, when you set a price on your order and it's a fast moving market, you kind of lose visibility of where your price is or the price you want in relationship to where the current price is. And this is telling you exactly what the current price is and where your order is in relationship to that. I think that's very, very helpful in terms of, pricing your order. In addition to that, I'm going to leave it on auto pricing, and I'm also going to have a profit and a stop loss. We didn't have this before, and I think the simplicity of being able to set a profit target and a stop loss, it's great the way that they did it here on the same order ticket where you do your primary or your entry order. I can set my take profit by specifying the price that I want, or I can do a dollar amount. So let's say that I want to do a $200 profit target with a $100 stop, 2-to-1 ratio. I haven't looked, at support, resistance, offer, demand, but this is just based on a dollar value that I want to set my profit target and my stop loss. Notice that it automatically calculates what that price is, 56.35 on the upper side, 56.05 on the lower side. I didn't have to enter those prices because it automatically calculated it based on the amount that I entered. And once I click send, the order is sent. You can see it working up here. This is the received order. The bracket is queued because it's waiting for the primary to get filled. But if it does get filled, it'll automatically work here. Notice this. This is something really cool too. Something that I like a lot and that I noticed when I was exploring Titan X, I noticed that it was new. The fact that you can edit that order in line. Let's say that you didn't intend to buy 1,000 shares, that you probably want to increase your position size. So I'm just going to double click where that 1,000 is, and I'm going to change that to 2,000. When I do that, I just go over here to the right and I say send. And that generates a cancel replace right within my order widget, which is, I think it's great. And I can do that with the quantity, and I believe I can do that with the price too. This is buying at 56.16. I see the current price of Bank of America is 56.20. Let's say that I want to change the price. I'm going to say 56.20 and send. There we go. Now it changed our price. So those changes can all be done right here in line inside the orders components. Very valuable. In addition to seeing the order there, I think I showed you that you can trade on the chart, right? If I go back here to my charting and I change this chart to Bank of America, you can see that. That's my order working for me. Let me change this to something intraday because my stop and my target were pretty tight. This is my entry order. Oh, it's not an order anymore. I just got filled at 56.20. That was my limit price. It bought 2,000 shares, and now I have my take profit and my stop loss. So even though, I entered the trade in the order ticket, I edited my order in the orders component, I come back here to my chart and I'm able to see my order. All these components are interconnected, allowing me to have that flexibility. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I can just modify my order, keep an eye on it, and edit it very quickly if I need to. From here, I can change my profit target. Maybe I want to hit, this top resistance level. Maybe I want to raise it there. I just have to drag it there, and there it is. If I want to close out my position, I can do that very quickly here as well. But let me go ahead and do it from my trade management layout, because I can see my Bank of America position right here. If I click it, notice that it's highlighted in gray. It automatically sends the information over here to the trade ticket, but I don't have to use a trade ticket because I can right click on my Bank of America and I have the option to close it at market, reverse it, or even create an alert from the right click menu. So full of functionality. Wherever you can, right click, because a lot of times the right click menus are going to surprise you in terms of how many options have been added. If I say close at market, I say proceed, so Bank of America is gone. Let's say, for example, that I don't want to commit capital on a 2,000 share position. Maybe I want to go into options and say, I want to do some options on Bank of America. I'm still bullish. I want to buy, the equivalent of 2,000 shares, but I don't want to commit, $100,000 of capital. $56 per share. If you buy 2,000 shares, that's over $100,000 committed just to Bank of America. If I go to the option chain, I have the ability to trade options and still benefit if there is going to be a rally on Bank of America. Let me change the symbol here. Top left corner, BAC. I'm going to hit enter. It automatically loads the most recent expiration. You can see the expirations right here at the top. The one that is highlighted in blue is the one that I'm currently seeing. So all these strikes that I see here in the middle are for the January 9th. These are the ones that are expiring tomorrow. You also see how many days to expiration are in the tab. The 1D just means that there's 1 day until expiration. If you want to give your trade a little bit more time, let me go ahead and go here to the end of January. So I'm going to do January 30th. The W just means that it's a weekly option. If you see an M, for example, here February 20th says M, that's a monthly option. Let's say that we're going to go all the way until January 20th, and it'll add that expiration to our view. In OptionStation Pro, I'm not sure you guys remember, but in OptionStation Pro, you had visibility of all your expirations. And sometimes that expanded your view so much that sometimes it was difficult to locate the expiration that you wanted. Here in Titan X, you just have to select the expiration you want to see, and those are the only ones you see. If I want to hide the ones that are expiring tomorrow, maybe I'm not interested in them, I just click it, and it hides the January 9th, and I'm just focused on the ones that are expiring at the end of the month. If I want to increase the strikes, I just go here to this drop down and say, give me 30 strikes instead. And there we go. A few other things that I enjoy about the option chain. This little green mark that you see next to the 56 strike, that tells you where the price of Bank of America is currently. The yellow line breaks up your chain into in the money and out of the money, so you get a clear view of what are the options that are in the money or out of the money. You also see the range. I'm not sure, it's difficult to see, but if you see there's a little vertical line next to the 56 strike, it's because, you know, the range of Bank of America hasn't been that big. If I go here to, let me see if it gives me that information here. Yeah, you see today's range has only been from 55.47 to 56.58. So that's represented right there by that little line on the left-hand side. If I were to choose something that moves more, let me change this quickly to Spider, for example. You know, on Spider, you see the vertical line. It just gives you what the range of today has been, where the price has been, what's the lowest price and the highest price, and where the current price is in relationship to that. Okay, let me go back here to Bank of America. When you switch symbols, it resets the expirations. I'm going to go back to the January 30th and then hide the January 9th. If you click on any of these columns, the bid and ask, it will generate a transaction. Blue means a buy. So let's say, for example, that I want to buy the 56. It automatically highlights that. You see a 10 here because I've set my defaults to 10 contracts. You know, 10 contracts, it represents 1,000 shares. If I wanted to do 20 contracts, then I just have to increase my quantity by clicking on the actual cell here. You can also adjust the quantity by just typing the quantity here. So if I wanted to do, you know, 20 contracts, I just have to type in there.
Hey, just briefly tell people where they control the default. Well, you set it to 10. Where is that set?
That is right here. When you go to the main TradeStation icon on the top left corner, you're going to have to go to the settings menu. And in here, you have an order entry tab that allows you to set the defaults. Now, I had set my default before class. I had set my default to 1, so I wouldn't be surprised with a 10 contract trade. But I believe this is per account. Yeah, I set it here to this account. I'm not really sure why it didn't take. I mean, that could be a bug, but it actually traded 10 shares for me. But it's okay. I mean, you can adjust the quantity any place, but here's where you set the defaults. TradeStation, settings, and order entry. 20 contracts. One of the nice things about, you know, using this combination of the option chain and the order ticket, if you look over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see the risk reward profile of this options trade. Notice that the option that we highlighted is priced at $1.71, but we're buying 20 contracts of that. So that is going to cost us $3,360. Of course, that beats, you know, the investment that we would have had to make if we traded 2,000 shares outright. The maximum profit here is infinity. You can see the symbol of infinity. And this is a profit probability of that. Anytime that you make changes to this trade, this is going to change automatically for you, the risk reward profile. Let's say that we don't want to spend the $3,000. So in addition to buying, you know, those 20 calls, let's say that we want to sell the 60 so that it reduces our cost. So we buy 20 calls and we sell 20 calls at a higher strike. Now you can see how the risk reward profile changes. We're not spending the $3,300. It's still costing us, you know, $2,700, but it also caps our profit. Our profit is not infinite anymore. We're trading a spread, but we can submit a spread right here. I'm just going to send it. And it went through. I'm not sure what I believe that did I set the pricing? Not sure, but let me go here to my trade management and see what happened to that trade. Here's the vertical. It shows right here is received. My limit price was 135, and I can see it right there. Let me replace this with a market order. so it gets filled immediately. And notice that now in my positions view, I can see my call vertical already there in place. We did a lot of enhancement to the way that the options are displayed in your positions view, and you can change the grouping. My grouping is set to order based, meaning that if I trade a vertical, when I look at my positions, I see a vertical. I'm not sure if you guys have traded on Option Station Pro before, but Option Station Pro, you traded a vertical, you went to your positions, and you saw individual legs. And if you're a heavy options trader and you have a lot of legs, it's kind of confusing to know which one matches with which. Now, having a platform that respects your order, and when you send it, it's going to display that order the same way that you traded it. I think it's very efficient and beneficial to options traders. I can set the options view to ungrouped, meaning that it doesn't show, that I traded a vertical. This is the way that it was before. But if you want to follow your trade the same way that you entered it and manage it as that position, you just set it to order based and it respects that for you. Another grouping option is margin based, which is just organizing your options and positions in a way that TradeStation calculates margin. A lot of times, if you have shares of equity and then you trade an option, those are combined to give you more efficient margin usage. So if you want to see how your positions are paired up based on margin, you can also look at that viewing.
I'll just say that these improvements are really significant. The order ticket on the side that Jesus is saying, I think it's hard to really do justice to it, presenting it quickly. It is a significant leap forward, and the ability of it to handle all kinds of different trades. If you're trading futures, if you're trading individual stock, if you need to trade something quickly or do something in a complicated way, it handles all of that really gracefully. And I want to mention that I've been incredibly impressed by an order ticket. And then the ability to see options differently. I think we've all been there. We have a lot of strategies and we have all these contracts. It's phenomenal. And wanted to just mention that I've been incredibly impressed.
And just as a side note, we're going to be adding a different grouping setting, which is the custom grouping, which is similar to what you had in Option Station Pro, where you could click and drag options and combine your own legs into custom spreads. We're going to have that ability very soon here in the option chain as well. Going back to the trade ticket, this is a standard order on a call, but notice that you can click here under standard order and you got the OSO and the OSO plus bracket functionality. And just as a side note, this is all being enhanced as we speak. There's a lot of things coming on Titan X. But this is already a very robust platform that anybody that wants to start using it can at any given moment. If I go here to OSO with bracket, and let me change this to something different. Let's go to Verizon. And let me change it to equities. And let's go back to OSO with bracket. This gives you a view of an OSO. This is the primary order to buy shares of Verizon. I can say buy 100 shares. Let's say that I want to buy those at market. My bracket, we have the selling transaction. This is a limit price or a limit order to sell the 100 shares at a particular price. Let's say we want to sell those at 41. And the stop here for the same 100 shares if it drops to 40. Now, it's a very tight profit target and stop, but this is just an example. And I can send those orders. Again, I can see them right here. This is the Verizon primary order that got filled. My bracket got received. The enhanced visual where I see that little bracket on the left-hand side lets me know that these two orders were connected so that if one gets filled, the other one gets canceled. That type of visibility is also beneficial. On the TradeStation desktop, you didn't have such a visual. You didn't know what was connected to what. I think we used indentation, but this added bracket does improve a lot of the visual. Let's see. And the other components here in Titan X are pretty straightforward. If you go here to the components menu, things like news or hot lists, those are pretty straightforward. News on symbols that you're watching, hot lists if you're looking for opportunities and you want to rank the whole market based on what symbols are the ones that are gaining the most. That's the type of things that the hot list provides. The watch lists are being, enhanced as we speak. Right now, it's just a plain watch list. I suppose that eventually we're going to have a little bit of radar screen functionality. If you know radar screen, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the ability for you to bring in technical analysis, not here yet. But the fact that you can create a watch list here and access that same list of symbols on your mobile device and even on TradeStation Hub, I think that's a great benefit because you don't have to maintain different platforms and be able and have to add the symbols all over again because you just went over to mobile. All right. And I think that's some of the features. I mean, that's in a nutshell.
The last thing, Jesus, what is real quickly mentioned is don't forget there is still symbol linking. So, for example, you can have a watch list that automatically links to a chart, and then when you click on a symbol in the watch list, it then will populate in the order ticket on the side. Correct?
For sure, yes. This is a workspace that comes with Titan X. It's called the Swing Trader. This is all linked automatically. You can see the linking icon on each one of the tabs. They've all been set to the same color. If you click on any of that link icon, you'll get the colors. And I'm sure this will be enhanced in the same way that the desktop is, because the desktop allows you to do like global and listeners. We don't have that functionality yet, but the ability for you to link all these windows together by the same color does give you that ease of use. I can click on Apple here, for example, and have all my charts switch to Apple, and my trade ticket is ready to trade Apple. If I
one last thing I want to mention, we're running out of time. I got to mention one thing really fast. Is I've noticed is they're really smart to do this. The order ticket on the side does not have a linking color, so you might be on different links. That way, you're not like you're accidentally clicking on the wrong thing. You think you're getting on one thing, and then it doesn't automatically pass over. Whatever last symbol you clicked on will automatically will automatically populate in that trade ticket, which is actually really intuitive. Because when I first started using this, I wondered where's the symbol linking, and then I realized it's even better not to have it. Jesus, we're running out of time, but don't forget, what is tomorrow? You're doing a webinar, aren't you?
I am doing a similar webinar that I did today. So if you want to review the functionality with me again tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about Titan X. I believe the time. Let me just bring up the time because the time of the webinar.
You got some more questions and everything else. Normally on this webinar we don't have questions, so I want to just tell everyone thanks for watching. And if you have some questions, check it out tomorrow with Jesus, and you go to TradeStation.com, and on the Learn section, there's the events page.
Exactly. And just make sure that you write down that email address, education@tradestation.com, and reach out to me for any questions related to education, and I'll be glad to provide you more resources.
Well, very good. It's great to see everyone. And I'll also remind people that February 26th down at our headquarters in Plantation, Florida, which is near Fort Lauderdale, if you don't know that, Jesus and I will be there for that masterclass along with a lot of other great guests. It's going to be great to see him again and talk more about options trading, which is the main thing I'll be focusing on then. We'll be back on on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do a State of the Market Normal webinar. Thank you, Jesus, for joining us, and thank you, everyone, for watching today.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.